Alright guys, it's pretty windy. Well, it's a little bit windy out, so I hope my cotton ball trick works. If you're wondering why I'm staggering around, I'm keeping my eyes out for snakes. I can't take you with me when I come out to the garden very much because, or at least when I'm harvesting, because I was picking beans today and I looked down and I could have swore there was an orange eye looking at me. So I was yelling at the old farmer, "Get over here!" Don't tell him. It was a brown leaf with a drop of water on it. Oh well, told you, I'm scared to death of snakes. Alright, I'm going to go in here and I'll show you what I got. I did not plant very many green beans because I've just never had any luck. So it just basically just this little corner right here. There's a few green beans and I'll show you. I got a couple others scattered in there. I got cucumbers there, and we put an old cattle panel along. I'm training them to climb that. And there's just a few. I planted black beans. I just went in and got some dry beans and threw those in the ground just as an experiment. The only way I can tell the difference is the black beans have little purple blooms. I think you've all seen between my raised beds, we put down black plastic and then pallets. And more cucumbers. This is a failed experiment. I had an old swimming pool. Dollar General had it. It had a crack. They were going to throw it out. So I brought it out here because that little thing leaks. And I thought, well, we could have some water. And I threw in some beans. And I think that's a pumpkin vine. And then on this raised bed, I've got carrots. I have never raised cantaloupe, been able to get cantaloupe, maybe 1 or 2 melons. My cantaloupe vines are going crazy. So we're training them on cattle panels. We come out every few days. There's a row of carrots there, a row of carrots in there, and then there might be some sweet potato vines stuck in the middle. And as you can see, I use straw. And underneath the straw we have, what are those called? Soaker hoses. So basically, now that I've got this set up, the garden's pretty low maintenance. Kind of takes care of itself. My watermelon is starting to grow, and it's going to train it up on that little piece of cattle panel. And then sweet potato, and they're kind of scattered in here. And then, I don't remember, 2 or 3 rows of carrots. Here's the other side. This is okra. And the grasshoppers have now moved in, and so you can see they're taking off. I had there's one in there. But the grasshoppers are really getting thick. I had a friend that posted today that the grasshoppers had eaten her potato vines down to just sticks, so she dug them. She had an excellent crop. So her root crops are doing great. But you can see here all my cantaloupe, and look at the grasshoppers in there, and my carrots from this side. And these 2 beds are nothing but tomatoes, all tomatoes. And I have always, that's how I do my tomatoes. I always have. I don't tie them up. I used to do tomato cages, and those turned into such a pain that we have learned, since we have them in the raised beds, that I plant them like this, and they just grow very well underneath the vines. It will come out when we're harvesting and pull up the vine, and you can't imagine all the tomatoes. I'm very excited because this is the first year ever I've been successful at starting my garden all from seed. I bought no bedding plants this year. Everything was from seed, and I've never been able to do that. So anyway, we've got a lot of tomatoes in there, a lot of blooms. My peppers, can't brag about those. They look awful. And I really don't care, but I think these two are bell, and that little guy over there is jalapeno, I think. I don't care if I get any green peppers. I mostly just want tomatoes. I'm hoping at least 100 quarts this year, if not more. Down on this end, we've got some cherry tomatoes. And I wanted to go with all organic, but, I got free seeds somewhere in the mail or something. I don't remember. And these are, my mind went blank. Maybe I'll think of it. But all of these tomatoes and all of these tomatoes are not Amish paste, Roma. They're all non-GMO, Roma. These plants on this end are cherry tomatoes, and I only planted them just because. I don't care for cherry tomatoes as well. I just like big old Roma canning tomatoes. And you can see a few tomatoes on here, but underneath it's just loaded. There's a quick garden walk around. I've got one more bed over yonder. Let's go over there. All right, this raised bed is, I don't know, a little mixture of everything, but I've started out with some herbs here, and I have harvested, gave them to a friend because I just didn't have time at the moment to do anything with them. There's KJ. Isn't he beautiful? Anatolian Pyrenees. Anyway, oregano, sage. I know, I gotta thin it, but oh well. Basil, I have thinned these too. A row of cilantro. I need to get more planted. And these are the few broccoli plants. I have battled aphids like you wouldn't believe, and then the cabbage beetles came in, and so, or the cabbage worm. Anyway, I've gotten a few little broccoli here and there, just enough for me, and I did make a small hamburger broccoli dish for the old farmer and I. But I just noticed, is it this one? This plant doesn't look too bad. I'm going to leave it. I know it's too hot now. I know these are spring plants. And I may go in and start some more seed for this fall and see what happens. But I came over here, cleaned this one up, and it's got a nice looking cabbage head here. There was like 3 or 4 rows of spring garlic. I'm never going to do that again, and let me show you why. This is all I got. Fall garlic I planted in the fall and then harvested in the spring or summer, because garlic you harvest, or I harvested it when the tops dried down. But I'm going to go get a shovel now and dig it up and try to get at least these little bitty garlic things. My dill, which has just been a constant battle, there's some here, and it's just scattered all over. That was my plan, hoping that things would protect it from the swallowtail. And you can see little ones coming up, and that's what I'm hoping to get some dill, but I saw swallowtail out here earlier, so they're back. And I did harvest a little bit of dill, which really wasn't ready for pickling, but it had eggs on it, so I don't know. I think there's 3, maybe 4 rows of carrots here. They're doing very well. So, right now, let's go. I've got a little bit in the backyard in some containers. Oh, I know what I wanted to show you. I don't know if it's going to make it, but I got a little tiny cauliflower head starting. I'm going to come back in and pull off some of these leaves. Here's the benefit of having raised beds. All you have to do to weed is just bend over, and you don't have to stand on your head. Basically, the only weeds I get right now are hogweed. See, there's some dill. And that's just how I did it. I just scattered it. So let's go in the back. Okay, back in here. This is my sad little flower attempt at a flower garden. I've never been very good at that. But my garlic chives, and I believe that's cilantro that I threw in here. So I'm hoping it will do something. And all that grassy looking stuff, I was at Totally Kathy's house and grabbed a bunch of her, garlic chives and just threw the seeds in here, hoping they would grow. It looks like they're going to do it. All right, there's my pumpkin. Getting him trained to go up on that old swing. This one here, Cinderella, that's the little, I had to replant because that thing flooded and I lost all those. So it's just getting started. That's the little sugar pies. And that over there are those blue mottled, purpley mottled ones. So I'm hoping I just get a couple. I'll be happy. I'm also training this to go up and around the fence, I hope. I've only seen a couple of blooms on this one. And see, I just as awful. I'm still getting a little bit of broccoli, so I'm keeping them in here and keeping them watered. And there's my little cabbage head. We'll see. It gets terribly hot back here, so, but I just don't have the heart to throw them out. I had to move these plants down under the deck because it was just so extremely hot. But look, there's my one cauliflower. And I am babying that thing. I hope he makes it. That may be all we get, but I got cauliflower. Now, in years past, I've grown cauliflower that's huge, huge. But I also planted it very early. I think I'm going to pull this cabbage up. Even though it's got a head in there, there's an awful lot of, the leaves are just destroyed and the grasshoppers are coming. This is another cauliflower. I think I'm going to pull it, give it to the chickens. It's just, like I said, too hot. That's a little heritage. Is that what are those tomatoes called? These are the GMO. That guy got a late start, but this one is loaded. Little cherry tomatoes, it's loaded. We're just waiting for them to turn. Now, the dogs are not supposed to be in here, but they all followed me through the gate. Look at KJ's markings. Isn't he beautiful? And there's Aspen. She's got to be in the middle of everything. All right, guys, I'm going to end my garden tour with that, and I'm going to go dig up all that garlic. I think we got a storm coming. Look, I want to show you this. We have to do this all the time. We have to sit and hug those dogs, and sometimes they just want to jump up and hug you. They are the sweetest dogs. And there's Frankie. He's no longer a pit bull or a Great Dane. He's now a Pyrenees. And he walks around with his head up high and his chest puffed out, and he just thinks he's the king of the roost.